warm up, he do it for free. Hey, I think I'm going to mess with that afro. It was mid-October of '96. Barry's in the corner there covering us. The barber shop is ready. The Hebrew with herbs. After you get cleaned out, you can get cleaned up. The Rolly's got the sounds to soothe you when you need to rest. Bruce got a book coming out. You get cold, Roland's got a shirt he can sell you. Right? And the popcorn cheesette crew is down front here. Just everybody's hungry. I don't know why Derek won't sell no food here. He can make a lot of money just having dinners available. At the Good Life, humbly is that the Good Life will sell out of food. When people know they don't have to go someplace else to eat, they can come. The people show up early. The seats are filled half an hour before the lecture because the people are eating and they buy out all the food. I mean, they sell out of veggie burgers, veggie hot dogs, and all of the vegetable things they were selling. That should be high too. They sell it all out. And the brother COKELY be doing all right too. So soon we'll get near all of these things that we need to make the right things come about. And that's always important. Again, I spent another week being humbled by the capability that we have perpetrated in the public about being able to penetrate an enemy. Tonight I wanted to try to do a little focus. Tonight I want to do a little focus for the Boule's role in New World Order. And I was trying to, over the last couple of weeks, there's a couple of tapes that I brought. A couple of weeks ago we did the lecture where I read some of the memos relating to the Boule being investigated by the military intelligence and subsequently engaging with military intelligence. In fact, for those that are interested in that tape, it doesn't have anything on it. It doesn't even say anything. It just says Steve COKELY, 10/8/96. And in that tape might be considered part one to tonight's lecture because I want to go further into the memos where the Justice Department convened a group of influential Negroes in the early 1900s, and that these Negroes were significant in assuring the American government that there was always a loyal, cooperative Negro available to counteract types of Negroes that they did not prefer. Last week we talked a little bit about Malcolm X. There's about 4 tapes from last week. We're trying to look at the international perspective of Malcolm X. And I didn't choose to bring the video today, but I found the tape that I had made a couple weeks ago of the little assassination focus that Spike Lee had put into the assassination of Malcolm X, the Assassination of Malcolm X movie. Because that's really what the movie did, assassinated Malcolm X. And interesting, at the end of that movie, old boy Ozzie Davis, and I know why Spike killed him on the bus. Because at the end of the movie he says, well, you know, they want to kill your spirit, Malcolm. It's talking about the spirit of Malcolm. And I was very intrigued by the little pieces, and then Mandela holds his little fists up at the end as he talks to little school kids. This is before he was president. And I was intrigued by that, and I'll show those hooked into some more things as we get a little deeper. Next week I wanted to start dibbling in a little bit to the CIA drug story. I've tried not to get into it this far because I've tried to wait until the heaviest hitters of the whites register themselves in the public. Now, you might not know this, but yesterday's New York Times front page left-hand column, top of the page. We talk about the top of the page. This is the top of the page. This is a newspaper. The important page newspaper is the one that when it sits in the machine, the story can be read without buying the paper. That article is seen by twice as many people as by the paper. And so the value of it is that it can be read for free. The New York Times yesterday, the LA Times yesterday, and then as you open paper, full-page stories, full page, page 7, page 8, page 14, and page 15, repudiating the CIA drug story. And the fact that the LA Times, the most influential paper on the West Coast, on the same day with the New York Times, the most influential paper on the East Coast, simultaneously start to run the counteract stories, means that they have waited until they felt they have heard the weight of the evidence of the opposition. And now they're coming forth with their angles on the story, and they have added some interesting perspectives. As I go into the story with you, I'm going to do it from a little different angle. I'm going to show you ain't none of these niggas touched any of the prevalent information on CIA's interaction with drugs, because I'll show you 50 books about CIA and drugs. And as you hear this for the first time, or you'll say it not for the first time like it's new to you, but you'll understand that they aren't touching the available information. 2 is, when I read the LA Times, and the LA Times is running an all-week series. It started yesterday. Any of you who can get the LA Times, they sell it at Silver Spring Metro. They sell it at the Union Station. All those machines out front. LA Times is running a week-long series on the CIA drug story. It's very important for LA to conquer the conspiracy theorists, so-called, because South Central is the focus of the story. So to crush the story in South Central is essentially important to the government, and they believe that they have heard from all of the possibilities. And so under that climate, we'll start to ease our guns out and prepare to respond. And one of the things that's going to intrigue you, in the analysis is watch how easy they repudiate a source. Say we got Castillo out there, who is the DEA agent, who, as I'll play you this segment from WOL, got the documents, the secret documents, the photos, the passport photos. He's got everything. Evidence, press conference. He's there. Evidence. No one reports on his evidence. But wait till I show you, as I looked and I was amused at the angles that the white media is using to repudiate this. They'll knock out a fact with 2 unnamed sources. They'll knock out another set of facts with another unnamed source. And when you look down at what they countered with, the quality of the retaliation was so weak that anyone who went not into the story of did they do drugs or not, but into the fairness by which one gives weight of evidence. The fairness by, I got these. Now maybe they ain't true, but they got their names on it. The weight by which one gives evidence. Part of, as we discussed, the Boule's role in New World Order, part of what gives us such great weight in the neighborhood is the fact that we have such weighted evidence, that it's irrefutable that the Paul covers the urn and that the urn got the names in it. That's irrefutable. The relationship between the Boule connecting it to the Round Table Group, and the Round Table Group being the core of the New World Order, is no doubt about it. The cornerstone sources of Quigley or Rose or Rothschild, there's no doubt about it. The membership list, the minutes of the meetings, what happens at the meetings, there's no doubt about it. And so we register with great weight. I left you all last week about to leave here to go to New York for a program the day after the Million Man March with Brother Eric Muhammad, who had just begged me to have this program. I mean, he begged me to have this program the day after the march, and over great hesitancy. One is, I can tell you into the record, I don't go nowhere where I'm not the focus of the reason of the people being there. In other words, if somebody's having a march over here, and that's their focus, and that's why everybody's there, then I can't be there. I can't be nowhere where I ain't the focus of what's going on there, because anything less is a security risk. In this moment, anything less is a security risk. Now the Steve Coakley had a heart attack is all over the West Coast, as Brother Jamal called me. And he said he heard it. The brothers in Pasadena and upper California have now called in. Fresno, they heard it. One brother called me and said, Brother Jelani, who was Omega brother, he said, now brother, you know my wife is a doctor. If you're having heart trouble, we can fix you up. She's a heart So people even offered me surgery or whatever else I need for a brother with a heart attack.
Baba Dick, you know that sell bookstore in Philadelphia, call me. If anybody know, you know, Brother Bruce, tell me, is the brother all right? Yeah, the brother all right. I was with him last night. They call him from Philadelphia. The hardcore from Philadelphia calling down here.
Yeah. So under a circumstance where I should have been dead already, I'm very leery always during those periods. I pay close attention to don't worry about the winter. I got the winter covered. Pay close attention to what goes on during these periods. So, and again, it's because of the weight. Many things happened over the last couple of weeks, and Brother Roland is going to give us a little report about what he felt up there, and I'll ask him a few questions, and he'll tell you some things. And we got Brother Greg is going to give us a reflection of get on the bus. Pardon me?
Did you have a heart attack, or how did the story come out?
Yeah, I had a heart attack. But the day the police brutalized you, I suffered a heart attack. Sister Angela is here, and she always will bring us some cogent words to contemplate as we go forth to do the things that must be done. Again, I appreciate you all coming out, and I've got some interesting things. I spent most of the week reading Henry Louis Gates and Cornel West's book called The Future of the Race. And if them two brothers have anything to do with the future of our race, the future is bleak. Henry Louis Gates spends much of the book talking about how he learned to be black at Yale. Because as a young man who went to Phillips Excalibur, or whatever that school is that Bush went to, yeah, Excelsior or something. Yeah, as a guy who went there, he really needed to learn how to be a black guy. And so he was very conscious about growing up to be black. And the book is very fascinating. I'm about to take my time to walk through, now that I know what we know, I'm going to walk through the black scholars. I'm going to walk through Karingas. I'm going to walk through Asante. I'm going to walk through these Gateses and even them Soels and the rest of them out there. Purpose being is that now I must learn the crick in each of before I've been able to just repudiate that dialogue, don't need to internalize it. And so not that I would ever get into some challenge with them. Just like when I was out at the Taste of DC and I saw Armstrong Williams, I was telling Sister I wanted to give him a flyer. Then I decided that I wouldn't even give him a flyer. That, it would give me no chill or thrill to jam him or to front him or even to alert him. So I just decided not to give him nothing. And I think that put more attention in him than if I had given him the flyer. So I in that period, in that vein of thinking, I want to bring up Sister Angela. Might as well bring up Sister Angela now, so that she can share some cogent information with us. And this is Howard's homecoming week. I guess they're all getting chilled up for homecoming this week, huh? They're all getting all fired up. Yeah, maybe the week after homecoming, you get a book called I Got the Homecoming Blues. So we'll hear from Sister. How many of you guys, Sister? 3? Well, we appreciate Sister Angela. I met Sister Angela in New Haven, Connecticut, and she's come on to Howard. She was getting prepared for coming to Howard the year before she got here. She wanted to know the right people to work with and the right things to do and so forth. And I see people around the room you all know. Y'all know a little bit about Sister Nia here. She know a lot of things around in D.C. that right here. This sister sit down right here. She know a lot of things, Sister, around this part's all to know about. She'd be a great counsel to you. She know many things. and a great value. And there are many others around, but everybody hungry tonight. But we just talking about earlier. Everybody has to give Steve some of their food when they come in, because everybody come in and be eating it. So Bruce gave us French fries. We had Cheetos and popcorn here. We had tacos over there. I got cake back here. What we got, sis? Curly fries. No, like, you don't bring no food. Yeah, and so I appreciate you all coming. I see Brother Jabari's in the back. What you got, Brother Jabari, to eat?
Some seeds.
Some pumpkin seeds? What's up, bud? What's up? Brother Calvin up here want to get on the camera and stuff. Brother Calvin. All right, brother. We appreciate them. Brother Donald has some information that we'll be talking a little bit about tonight. About, a couple of weeks ago we talked about it, brother. We talked about Bruce and Roscoe Bruce and the people who were coming against the Boule in the early 1900s. I spent the last couple of days being Carter G. Woodson. Sister, the brother David. You see Brother David over here? Yeah. When he come in. That's Brother David right there. He pays double.
Right, absolutely. That's why I'm here, to make sure I have a good night. I'm going to buy a couple of tapes, too.
Yeah, you bring the check?
Yeah, you know that, Steve.
No, but you got the check?
I got it.
Okay, we'll go on over there and give her the check. That's all right, Papa. That's all right.
Get the amount from you.
That's all right. 500. Yeah, 500.
Hey, I like you on that 5.
I know. Yes.
I like that.
Right, 500. Well, go and put the 50 in there, brother. Said you want some tapes too, right?
I want 15 right now.
Okay, 7 and 7 for last week and this week.
Right.
Right, that's it. All right. Singles. We got Sergeant at Arms is over here. We need some official people to work on the election. I tell you, sometimes it's hard to do most of these things, and we need like somebody who's a flyer coordinator and somebody who. Okay, all right, that's all. Okay. And people take certain responsibilities so that it can even be more efficient. As we start to talk about this drug thing, I know Brother Jamal, who you all met at the Kennecutter Holding Offense, and have seen him in and around, liking the strengths of Brother Keaty, though even more sincere, will be in town maybe next week, and I might have him here at the lecture on Tuesday. He did an interview with Ricky Ross at the jail in San Diego. And he only played part of the interview on KJLH, which is Stevie Wonder's station, of which he is the producer of the show there. And he will be around next week, and as we start to go into that, we'll get some live dialogue, some things that we want to ask Ricky Ross. Now, that's one thing, he on 2020 or some shit, and they asking him some dumb shit. There's something else, because you know the type of things we're interested in. Like, didn't you know Tyrone Powers when you was around in Cincinnati and shit? Stuff like that. But, you'll find it to be some interesting information you couldn't get out of the papers. So we'll be deep into that. And I told those earlier that the message I left on your line at the New York Times, yesterday, LA Times, yesterday and all this week of doing stories. Interestingly enough, the Washington Post, when they did their repudiation, did an upper left-hand story. I just reminded you all that the one that's in the LA Times yesterday is front left-hand. The one that's in the New York Times yesterday is front left-hand. That they're all coded on the top left-hand side. And I don't know why. It's just a coincidence. I brought one copy of the Persian Gulf War and the New World Order lecture I gave way back at Howard in '91. And part of what I did in that lecture was to lay out the newspaper, because they were running one picture in every newspaper every day. They were running, like one day it was a picture of the soldier getting a shot. It ran in every damn paper. We were laying all the papers out. And when you start looking at news from that angle, you'll learn what the priorities are. The shot, of course, was to reinforce that wasn't nothing going to happen when they get there. Of course, now they're only adding thousands to the amount of people who they affected who were there. Yes, Bruce.
Speaking about code, you know, you said they put the articles on the left-hand column. Maybe you can reiterate to some of the folks that don't know about what you say about the boxes in the Washington Post.
Or any newspaper or any magazine boxes that are four-cornered or four enclosed. And brother, you need to open up your books and stuff so I know what's in there, so I can tell. Or some of the stuff you said, stuff up. And now don't put the barber out there. You can't close the barber down because the barber was cutting hair in the corner. The barber got hair earlier. He cut hair there. So you can come on this side. You want to come right there. Huh?
So shut the barber down.
You all right? You got a way to do it? Okay, a brother brings some good used books, and I know it's hard for them to come in from Baltimore, but some of those books are very important to some of the things I'm talking about. And last week he gave me the copy of Cornell West and Henry Louis Gates, and I spent the next day reading it, Bob. I read it all the next day, and it inspired me a whole week of discussion. I've been Carter G. Woodson all week. I've been Emmett Scott. I've been James Moreland. Interesting, you know, Moreland is the Moreland Spingarn Library. Is Moreland white or black?
He's white.
He's black.
He's black. This man.
He gave his whole collection at the start of it.
He had a black father and a white mother, but his father's name, Moore, M-O-R-E, was Moore, M-O-R-E. I believe it was probably more of M-O-O-R, because when James, his son, gets the name, he drops the E and goes M-O-O-R, more, and adds land, and becomes more land. But he was more. Something's up in there. And his daddy was, I'm going to get into that. I'll get into that with you. There's some excellent sources. I really want to make sure that I have time to read these things into the record, some of them of such great detail. Now, another thing I want to do with you tonight, as I look over and the Boule is talking about the climate in which they were created in as one thing, simultaneously I want to walk you over to, Carter G. Woodson is trying to get some money from Abraham Flexner at the Rockefeller Foundation. If I go over to murder by injection, I can read where Abraham Flexner is preoccupied at this period that Carter G. Woodson is trying to get money from him in setting up the AMA, pulling Skodogri on the natural doctors, overthrowing them with the quack white doctors that they were setting up. So what we need to do is to walk through. We need to take Carol Quigley is talking about one period in time. As Carol Quigley talks about who the power people are at this period in time, we understand that the forces on Carter G, the forces on Garvey, or the Alain Locke, the forces that produce an Alain Locke, etc., are all coming out of this climate that Quigley describes in terms of the consolidation of the rich and the powerful at that moment in time, a very critical moment, as they went from the late 1800s to 1933 to establish worldwide power, what it meant at that period for them to come forth, and that these brothers were trying to come up amongst this. If I never get to any of this in the lecture, Carter G. Woodson, I have to give some of my strongest support and respect for several reasons. Not only did he say he wished that these Negroes didn't kiss the ass of the whites to get the grant money, because when it came to him, they expected him to kiss the ass because the others had kissed the ass. And he found it was hard, and he got, say, $25,000 from the Carnegie Foundation. He got $37,000 from the Laura Spelman Fund. He got $25,000 from the Rockefeller Foundation. But as soon as he didn't do what they asked him to do, or as soon as they kept telling him, well, we need you to merge your research with that of Robert Moulton at Tuskegee. We know Moulton to be a spy. Right. Carter G don't know that, but Carter says, I ain't working with that damn fool. I'll never work with him. And he lost a grant, big $25,000, not to work with Moulton. We know Moulton a spy. He didn't know. He just watched Moulton. Though they was in the same fraternity, he wouldn't work with him. But they told Carter G, we won't give you money unless you work with a Negro who we approve of. Then they started establishing white scholars who Carter G would have to have his money dispensed to him through white scholars. A man named Park at University of Chicago. Carter G was one of the earlier master's degree graduates out of University of Chicago. So he's in Chicago, 1907, 1908, 1909. One of the things I'm also very impressed with is the role of the YMCA in nigger life in the late 1800s, 1900s. The role of a YMCA as a place where blacks could go live for a limited amount of money. The Young Men's Christian Association. And that Charles Wesley and many of these others had positions in the YMCA. Moreland was the head of the YMCA movement. Well, Moreland is in the middle of all of that because he was very instrumental in the bringing forth of it. You'll run into a man's name named Work, W-O-R-K, another social scientist during that period. What did it mean when Du Bois set the criteria by which sociological studies on Negroes would be established? And it was, again, the type of study that said 14 police, 44 media executives, 22 business executives, 13 plumbers, 22 carpenters. The sociological study that whites wanted from blacks was a study that told who all of the blacks were in a particular area, what all of them were doing. That was a sociological study that the whites wanted to fund. Carter G wanted to do some shit on Kemet. He said, I got some shit on Luxor. They said, no, that position will get a lane lock. Interestingly enough, I saw some shit where they said that the deal was in making a lane lock, the first Rhodes Scholar, was that he would be the only black Rhodes Scholar until he died. And it's interesting in the biography of him and written by two Howard people, Ray Logan and Michael Winston, both Boules. Both, huh? Both Boules. Hebrew used to go with Winston's daughter, who was a jazz singer. Turned into a freak or something. When y'all freaking or something? Did you bring me the profile of her?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, yeah. You don't act like you don't know what I'm talking about. All right. Sherry, well, okay, yeah, see, now you remember. Yeah, Sherry Winston, right? And that, only a minute ago. Okay. Well, in their profile that they wrote in the encyclopedia, excellent book. I got these from Brother Nati, and I'm going to go through a couple of the profiles. The Dictionary of American Negro Biography. And not being one big in the Negro things, I'm starting to get my Negro thing really tightened up because I got the Negroes really down now. But the role of the Negro, see, you got to understand, Du Bois, and I have to correct things that I've said in my tapes in the past. I said in the past that the Talented Tim speech was given in 1910 at the Boule Convention. And that's not true. If what Henry Louis Gates and Cornel West are saying in their book, The Future of the Race, the original Du Bois Talented Tim speech was written in 1903. It was revised for the Boule Convention of 1948. And Du Bois's concept of the Talented Tim, as all emphasizes, I look back through the Boule material, they always emphasize Du Bois. They always emphasize Du Bois' emphasis of that the lot of black people will be risen by that 10% educated class, the educated black elite. Remember, we had established in the past that when the whites, rich whites, coalesced with the earlier blacks, there were not rich blacks. So rich whites coalesced with educated blacks because there was no class of rich blacks yet. So it was an unequal relationship. Now we have the great white foundations coming together. We got the Federal Reserve over there incubating. We got the America under massive transformation. Simultaneously, you got these blacks organizing. The blacks, as I'm reading carefully into the role of Locke and all of the earlier Boule, the blacks worked very hard at convincing the whites that they were the blacks to be counted on. That the destiny of black people, the guarantee that black people would be primed for that which whites wanted. That they would guarantee this. Before I go any further, just to give you a glimpse so that I don't miss any of this tonight, let me take you to a period where Carter G. strike. Marcus Garvey is looming on the horizon, and whites are getting ready for World War I, and they want to build the appropriate consensus in the black community to support World War I without bringing up the unfair treatment that blacks were subjected to as a result of being looked at as less than a white man. These documents, and I just wanted to make sure I do this so that I don't miss it, and we're early, so I can be able to do this and get back into the larger flow. This is, we heard before about Spingarn. Remember, the library at Howard is Moreland Spingarn, and all of them. Spingarn is very fascinating, Moreland is fascinating, all of their histories, their interrelationships. Carter G. Woodson broke up his relationship with Moreland because he felt Moreland was too trusting of white people. And he wrote him a letter, said, you trust any cheap honky you can find. He didn't say honky, but he said something like that. And he said, your unblinded loyalty to cheap white men against the intellectual Negro, you are a threat to our neighborhood. And he cuts his relationship when he kicks Moreland off of the journal of his Association of Study of African American History. He knocks him off the board secretly. Now this is Spingarn, Emmett Scott, preparing for this conference of editors. See, I looked up. See, the reason I'm down here, so he don't sit down here, because I was looking back at the videos, and he was sitting, he put his chair, so he could sit like that. And he looked up, all over the country, he's all in the tapes and stuff. I had to have somebody behind the counter serving drinks and stuff. Wait until then to get thirsty and Robert. Did he pay double since he paid for last week? Did he pay for last week? All right. Now this is relationships. These are Emmett Scott and Spingarn and others talking to each other. Listen very carefully. I think you'll find the weight of the information very glaring. They want to get the Negro editors together to build a consensus for the Negroes to support the white man at a very critical period. Simultaneously, they want to assess the Negroes and see which Negroes they might have trouble with, which Negroes should be stressed for further cooperation, who should be asked for names. They were looking for a society that don't know no names. All these hunkies was hunting names big time. Give me them names. Give me every memo. Give me the names. Give me the names. Von Dumont and the rest. These are all those documents. This is to George Creel, chairman of the Committee on Public Information, which at that time was a government agency. I guess probably something like press secretary or something. What's up, Bob? Dear Mr. Creel, this is from Emmett Scott. I have been holding a conference today with Major J.E. Spingarn of Military Intelligence Branch of the General Staff. We have been discussing at length the situation with respect to the Negro people of the United States. This is dated June 5th, 1918. Our joint feeling and opinion is that the present statement, and notice that these are not all spelled the way you may spell them now. Oh, that reminds me. Made me look at your tape on the Khaled lecture. I opened it up today, and you got to look at the word warrior. W-O. Oh, right. Right, okay, all right. I do get my chance to look at them things now. Tonight, Buddy has to give his tape up. He has to give his tape to me. Normally, the cameraman been taking the tapes home. Buddy has to give his tape up tonight because I got from him last week the Georgetown lecture. So I put the thing on today. I'm going to look at it, and it opens up with a naked woman. She got a rifle in her hand. She got bullets strapped between her naked breasts and a holster around her naked waist. And I think "Fight the Power" by Public Enemy is a song playing in the background and shit. So,
I didn't see that at Georgetown.
I didn't see it. I was wondering why Buddy was over in the corner looking at the camera and shit. When the lecture started, you remember we was over there, Buddy was over there looking at the camera and shit all down. So I was telling you guys, you got to give it to me live and uncensored. You can't be adding on. Now, Donald took something out and he didn't put something on. Yes.
We talked about the bullet strapped around it last weekend, which was 10 days ago. The real Black Panthers had their reunion in San Francisco, and I'll try to get some more information and bring it back to you. That's what
I have some friends who are there. I like
nobody knows about it. You won't. It's not too. It might have been published in the San Francisco paper about stalking one of the Panthers from the East Coast and stuff. So I'll bring some information back one day. I can't tell when I talk to my friend in San Francisco.
Okay. Excuse me.
Not negating the new Panthers. I'm just saying the real, so you know whom I'm talking about. The '60s Panthers had a reunion. So.
Our joint feeling and opinion is that in the present state of affairs among the Negro people, it would be exceedingly desirable if this meeting were held in Washington, D.C. at an early date. A meeting at which there might be present from 15 to 20 editors of the most important colored newspapers and magazines, together with probably a dozen other influential leaders among the Negro people. At which conference there would be a full discussion of the situation from the point of view of recognizing the fact that we are at war and that Negro public opinion should be led along helpful lines rather than along lines that make for discontempt and unrest. Major Spingard and I shall be altogether willing to suggest a list of names and addresses of these men who could be called into such a conference, and it is my earnest opinion that the splendid results that would follow such a meeting in the direction of molding healthful public opinion would amply justify the comparatively small expense that would be involved in providing for the actual and necessary traveling experiences of these men. Hey girl, you better cool it over there. Major Spingard and I are jointly signing this letter as our recommendation to you. A conference at your convenience with respect to the matter can be held if desired. Thank you in advance for a word of reply. I am sincerely yours, Emmett J. Scott, Special Assistant to the War Department. Emmett J. Scott's granddaughter is who?
Elaine Brown, who did run the chapter at, not the chapter, the party, the first woman to ever run the Black Panther Party.
All right.
After a lot of purges and conflicts in the party.
Okay, and then
get a book, Taste of Power.
On page